Hey guys, I'm Amber and my co-host here is Kelly. Welcome back to the Brown Girls Guide where we talk about all the things we wish we knew growing up.
Hi guys, just welcome to episode 7 of season 3. That makes us more than halfway now through the season, which is insane to think that we are in season 3. Today we're doing a fun little Q&A with one another. We'll be discussing our careers and we don't know what the other one is going to ask, so it's very unprepared. But before that, Amber, it is now 20 past 8 in the morning. What are you drinking?
I'm having my usual gin and I'm joking. 20 past 8, so obviously it's a mimosa. I wish it was a mimosa, but it's just a glass of orange juice. Okay. I'm hoping it's going to help me wake up. So far, it's unsuccessful. What are you having?
Me, I am just having a cup of coffee. I've got my coffee and my bottle of water, like staring at me. I really should have that. But for now, I'm just having coffee and I'm just trying to wake up for the day. Long day ahead, just trying to wake up.
I've got my emotional support water bottle also like staring at me.
Yeah, emotional support water bottle. That's a good one because it goes everywhere with me. It goes everywhere in the car, to the kitchen, wherever I am, this water bottle is. And it's really just a matter of actually drinking the water. But
I thought I was the only one that had like an emotional support water bottle. And then the other day I was scrolling through TikTok and this girl just randomly appears on the screen and she goes, "This is just a gentle reminder to wash your emotional support water bottle regularly."
Oh, I also remind myself
and I was like, oh shit, I haven't washed this thing in like a week.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and just to refresh the water in case you feel like drinking it at some point, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So funny. But I think before we jump into like the actual Q&A, I don't know if many people know what we actually do now. So do you want to just kick off, Kelly, and just explain what you do? Okay, we do the same thing, but I mean, we can each just chat about what we do in general and our careers.
Sure. I am a PR professional. That's what I call myself. I'm an account director at a local agency. And I basically do media relations, communications, and that kind of thing for a variety of clients. Amber, I feel like you're going to have the same explanation, but I'm going to ask you, what do you do?
I'm a PR professional. I'm a senior account manager at an agency. I think now we can say multinational agency. Okay,
we can say multinational. We can say multinational.
We work for a multinational agency, and just like Kelly said, we manage media relations and communications for a variety of clients. And I've always done PR. I know, Kelly, you've dabbled in journalism.
I've dabbled in the journalism. It's very badly paid.
Yeah, I've heard things.
Yeah. So, Amber, what do you wish you knew about career growth and building a career before you joined the working world?
I wish I knew that everyone has to partake in politics. Like, I know a lot of people say like, oh, I don't want to get involved in office politics. Oh, I don't want to play the survivor game. You have to. It's just a thing. Like, it doesn't mean you have to be like some ruthless, like, it doesn't have to be a negative thing. It just means that if you want to progress in your career, you do have to step out of your comfort zone and do a certain amount of schmoozing or networking.
Yeah.
Or, you have to put in some sort of effort and, like, in quotation marks, play the game. It's just something you have to do. You're just going to sit at your desk and do your usual 9 to 5. These are
You're not going to get anywhere.
KPIs. Yeah. You're not going to get anywhere. You need to go above and beyond in some or other way. You could either do that by doing more work and excelling in a certain area of your field, or you can do it the social way that a lot of people do and, not make friends, but I mean, build relationships with your management or your colleagues and see
basically
where there's room for growth.
You got to kiss the ass, but in like a way that's not, in a way that's not like overly gross.
Yeah, not in an overly gross way. You just have to show that you are eager to grow. You have to make that known to them. You have to play the game. That's what I wish I knew.
That's a very good point. I also didn't really know that, but here we are schmoozing our way to the top.
Playing the game. This is a similar-ish question, but what advice would you give your intern self?
Oh, I'm thinking my intern self. How young, how naive I was. I think I would tell my intern self to to speak up more, to raise my hand more, to actually use my voice. I was very shy and very quiet, and I didn't believe that I had something to contribute to the conversation. And I think I would definitely like tell my intern self to just make my voice heard. If I have an opinion and I think it's valid, I should say it. Even if I question whether it's valid or not, I should express my opinion. If I have an idea around the table, I should share that idea, because I found out later on in my career, I was at the same company that I interned at, and I only saw real growth when I started to be really proactive, and I like put up my hand for like assignments, and I spoke up more, and I was more involved in idea generation. And it's only then that I really saw the growth, and I saw my manager at the time believing in me. And I know until then he didn't. So it was interesting to see, and I wish I'd done that a lot sooner. But I don't think I'm any worse off for it. I just wish I'd done that a bit sooner, and I definitely would give my intern self that advice.
That's great advice.
For you, Amber, what would you do differently if you could start your career again?
I don't know if this is going to answer the question effectively, but I would relax more. Like I was so anxious for the first like 4 or 5 years of my career. Like every day was just immediate panic and like immediate imposter syndrome. Like I thought everything I was doing was wrong, and like I just was always doubting myself. I don't know why, but everywhere I worked, I was just so stressed that I was doing the wrong thing. And despite me having, regular meetings with management and them saying, oh, you're doing a good job, like everything is going fine, I never actually took the time to enjoy the work experiences I had properly, because I was so stressed about whether or not my performance was going to be a bit shit. So, like, just thinking the jobs I've had before, I did some pretty fun things and I had great events I could go to and plan. But there's always a part of me that wasn't enjoying it fully, because I was so worried about, like, oh God, I actually suck at this. Like, people are going to realize I'm just like an imposter. I would just tell myself to just breathe and relax, because I was way too hard on myself.
Random question on that, not my next question for you, but random question. Does that ever go away? And I know the answer to that, but like, does the imposter syndrome actually ever go away? Like, now that you know what you know, you still feel a sense of imposter syndrome. I feel it every day. I'm just like, today is the day they're gonna find me out. I'm just like, what are they gonna find out? But today's the day,
I don't think it ever goes away, but I think it does get a little bit easier. As you go, you get more confident in the tasks you do.
Yeah.
So as you grow in your career, I think it helps. It helps, but it doesn't ever fully go away. Like, especially when we get new like projects or campaigns to work on. Like, I'm working on a new client now. Every day I'm just like, oh God, they are going to find out. They're going to be like, what were we thinking giving this woman sub-Saharan Africa? What? Nope, bye. So I'm just like...
Oh, that's so weird.
I think it happens with the new challenges, but the things that we've been doing for like 7 years, it's fine at this point.
Yeah.
But the new things do keep the imposter syndrome alive.
It does. It does indeed. It just keeps you humble. There's always something to keep you humble.
It does. Keeps you in your place.
Yes.
The next question is like a bit of a lighthearted one. What is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you, either at work or at a work-related event?
Oh, I can't now think off the top of my head. I genuinely can't. So I'm gonna send that question back to you and be like, what's your most embarrassing thing? And then maybe I can actually remember mine.
Okay, let me think.
Oh, wait, I do know. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Okay, I do know. And a lot of people know the story already, but I'm gonna say it. So when I worked as a motoring journalist, I went on my first international launch, and it's a big deal. Like, you get to go on your first international launch, you fly business class, you land in Europe somewhere. I was in Italy. And I mean, I've heard all the stories about them, about how after dinner, like the South Africans especially, like, would just like hang out at the bar together and drink. So me, I mean, I was what, 20, 21 maybe at the time. In fact, I think I was 20. And I go overseas on my first international launch, and I'm like, I am now going to show these people I can hold my own. So I had way too much to drink. Not only that, but I had grappa, but I had it as a shot. I had two as a shot. And I'm sitting there with the PR manager for Citron South Africa. It was a Citron launch. Citron South Africa and my fellow South African motoring journalists. And I just threw up on myself.
No.
I threw up on myself. Just out of blue. I was mid-sentence. And I just threw up on myself. And everyone was like, and everyone was so lovely about it. They were so lovely about it. And my now husband, he was there at the time. We weren't even together, but he was so kind about it. He was so nice about it. Must have been what told me this is a nice guy. Because he then, I don't even remember half of it, but like, he walked me to my room, and he basically he not like pushed me, but he gently nudged me through the door and made sure I got to my room okay. And then the next morning he filled in just all the blanks for me, and he was like, your face just exploded. I had to help you to your room. And then he said after he helped me to my room, when he was on his way to his room, he found the PR manager like trying to use a key card at her door, and she couldn't because she was also drunk. So it was. So
he was basically just making sure. He was like the big brother of the evening.
Yes,
just making sure.
Yes. And I embarrassed myself on my first international launch in front of the PR manager. So that was fun.
That is pretty embarrassing. That is a good answer. Shame.
Yeah, so that happened to me. Oh, what a fun time. I did ask you, what was your embarrassing thing? This is not my question for you, but now I want to know, because I don't want to be alone in this embarrassment. What was your most embarrassing thing?
I think the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me at work was, I can't mention the brand's name, but we're working on this huge international brand, like a luxury brand, and we were planning an event for them in Joburg. This was a couple of years ago. And your biggest fear when organizing events to PR person is that no one's going to come. So for this particular campaign, we had about 4 events. I think 3 or 4 events we were running. The first one was just media. The second one was a more intimate, like influencer gathering. And this third one was this huge party where like media influencers, celebrities, everyone was invited. And it was like 150 people. So the huge difference between Cape Town and Joburg events that a lot of PR people might know is that Cape Town people, when they say they're coming, they're coming. And they always come on time for the most part.
In Cape Town, are you sure?
Yes, they arrive for the most. Arrive on time for the most part, and if they say they're coming, they're coming. So if you invite, like, if you need 50 people there, you can invite about like 100-ish people, and then bank on the 50 people to come. Like, that's generally okay. We didn't know that that's not how it works in Joburg. So we had this huge venue for 150 people. And I think we had about like 30 people at this event. It was embarrassing.
I would have legit anxiety that whole time.
I was so anxious, and I was praying like, oh, maybe more people will come. Nope.
I would have phoned my friends. I'd be like, please just come for love space. Please just come for love space.
And Joburg is so relationship oriented that like you have to, know people, and if they know you, they're more likely to come. and to like bring like other friends along.
Oh,
and
no.
my God, that was just the worst. And the next few events after that, I was so nervous every time that the same thing was going to happen. But yeah, that's it.
Oh no, I would definitely have anxiety for the rest of my career because of that.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. My next question. Would you no, I wait. I just asked you that question. Give me 1 second. Okay. What was your biggest career lesson?
My biggest career lesson, I think, is to actually speak up more. Like, not in the sense of like sharing ideas. I mean, when something is bothering you. So in general, I would say my biggest lesson has been CYA, just to cover your ass.
Yeah.
It's something that, you don't always think is going to be necessary, but this is part of, that playing the game thing.
Yeah.
Where you never know how your work or performance is being portrayed to people or your management that you're not aware of. So it's always important to CYA, just back up everything you've done and speak up if you feel uncomfortable about something. Even if it's a small thing and you feel like it's a little embarrassing, just say it anyway. If you don't want to do a phone call, just send a message or an email. I learned, I think, a little too late in my career that you need to speak up about these things, because people who you work with, it sounds so negative, but people that you work with can twist things to their advantage when they need to, and you would be like blissfully unaware.
Yep.
And your management will form an opinion about you that's not even true, just because of another person that needed to use you as an excuse for something. So always see why, and if something bothers you, it's easier said than done, but just speak up, just say something, just so you know that your side of the story is being told. I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned.
It's a good lesson. I think we've all had to learn that, and I think you're right. Like, you'd be surprised at how your colleagues will, like you said, like twist your words a little bit, or only like tell their side of the story and not actually be accurate about what happened or something. But yeah.
Exactly. And this happened to me when, I won't say exactly when, but like early on in my career, it happened that my superior, or whatever you want to call it, was blaming work that they hadn't done on me. And because I was a junior at the time, I felt too scared to say anything. Where I should have, because that made them look at me a little differently, because they thought, oh, Amber's not doing what she's supposed to be doing. In the meantime, that person wasn't doing what their job was.
Yeah.
But in the end, I left, but they stayed on at this place, and eventually they got let go because it came out that they were the one not doing their job. So in the end, it worked out. But I mean, at that time, they thought I wasn't doing my job properly. Cool. My next question for you, Kellyanne, is, what are some things you would change to make things better for people entering the PR industry? It can be a small thing or a big thing.
What would I change? So I can't like tell you like what I change in the industry per se, but there are a few things maybe that I would do differently in our particular company that we work for. So let's imagine that I was a manager at our company. There's a couple of things I think we could do differently. And it isn't that we do anything wrong. It's just that I think because we've been doing this for so long and we've been working at this company for longish, we don't realize that when new people come in, there are like certain support systems that they could use, especially now that we work remotely. So I feel like new people who come into the industry or the company could use maybe like a better support team. As in, like, if you're new at a company and you feel like someone is doing something wrong, or you feel like you aren't doing something correctly, you don't necessarily want to go to your MD or your manager and say, I don't know if this is right.
Yeah.
Could you help me? Like, you don't want to actually show them that you haven't quite grasped like something, or that you like something's not like sitting right with you or whatever. So I feel like new people who start, whether they are brand new to PR or brand new to the company, could use a better support team from the rest of the rest of the team, basically. Like a little pot of people who they could turn to and be like, hey, is this right? Like, is this like meant to be happening? Or hey, do you think you could just help me with this? And I think it's more so now that we work remotely, because if you were in the office, they could literally just turn to the person next to them.
Yes.
Whereas now we work remotely, so we feel very alone. And I think I would just I would change that, and I would offer more support to new people who come in.
I love that idea.
Yeah,
Especially when different agencies have different cultures and ways that they do things. So it's never going to be an easy transition from one company to the next, because everyone does things in a different way. From status reports to like status meetings with, internal or with clients, everything is different.
Exactly. So I just feel like I would offer more support, and whether it be from me, myself, or from like other people in the team, I would just offer more support, because it's just daunting when you start in a new company, no matter how many years of experience you have or not, but especially if you are like brand new to the industry, I would offer more support. Amber Lambs, are you still happy with the career path you've chosen?
Literally my next question for you.
Okay.
Yes, I'm very happy with my career choice. I won't say I always loved PR, but I always knew I'd be doing something in the communications/events PR field. I don't know if I spoke to you. Did I speak to you about this? I think it was you. About how it was Delia. It was our colleague Delia. How we grew up in this age where all those movies came out. Like, like The Wedding Planner, The Delia Prada. We grew up with those movies. So I grew up idolizing this field of like comms and working in a magazine. And it's just something I've always wanted to do. So yeah, I'm quite happy in it. I'm so happy in my choice. I don't have any other things that I enjoy or that I'm good at. Like, some people can make things or bake or draw. I can't do anything like that. all I can do is write, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with my choice. And that is my question for you as well. Do you still feel happy with your career choice? Is there something else you want to pursue, or is this where you at?
I am happy in my job. I don't think I'm as happy as you. I'm not unhappy. Let me just put that on there, but I'm not unhappy in my choice. I'm not as passionate about it as you are. I like what I do. I like building relationships with people. I like obviously landing coverage, but as my career has grown and as my role has expanded and as my knowledge of the world has expanded, I can feel myself leaning towards not a different area. It's just I don't think I necessarily want to be the person that is doing like the on the ground things and like the daily account management or like events planning or whatever it may be. So if I'm happy in my career, I'm going to word this, but let me just think about it.
Think very carefully.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm happy in my role that I'm in now, and I'm happy with the projected future of where things are going.
Okay, so that's great.
I do think I'm on the right path. There are moments where I think about if I would have chosen a different career, if I had known then what I know now. I think I would have enjoyed not media law per se, but I think I would have enjoyed like the digital law and digital like social media things. But like social media has only come up in the last 10 to 15 years. And when I was how old am I? When I was looking at what to study, it was not around. And it was not as big as it is now, and it was not as predominant as it is now, and there weren't legal elements to it. So now that I can see how it's grown and how much it affects people, especially young people and kids, and the laws involved in it, a part of me wishes I could explore that a little bit more, just like social media law and how it the do's and don'ts. And I don't know if that makes sense, but also, and then I think how many years you need to study in order to to have a career in law. And then I'm like, no, it's okay.
Yeah, no, law is hectic. It's very hectic.
And just how theory heavy it is. And then I think, no, it's okay. I'm happy with my career path. I must admit that I didn't ever think I'd end up in PR. Have you ever watched Raising Helen?
I have not, but that's the movie with Kate Hudson, eh?
That's correct. So she works at like a magazine in like the fashion world or whatever. But she's also in a movie called How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, where she has a similar career. And I always thought like I wanted to be like that. Like I wanted to write like the columns and the fun stories at a magazine. And I always thought I'd be in that field.
Yeah.
And I never ended up there. And I'm actually glad that I didn't end up there. But I didn't think I'd ever end up in PR.
For a long time, I also really wanted to work for a magazine. Like that was the ultimate dream, would be to work for a magazine. I still think I would like to work for a magazine, but it's so tricky here in South Africa right now. So
let me tell you, I would love to work on a show, like a TV show, like a new show or whatever.
As a producer.
Yes.
That would be cool, eh? That would be so cool.
Like that for me has been something that's been on my mind. And I mean, I don't think I could make the switch now. I've been out of the media world for so long. I know we in media, but I've been out of like that side of the media world for so long. I definitely don't think I could make the switch. But I would have loved to be a producer on like a morning show or like Afternoon Express or whatever it is.
I actually don't think it's too late, eh? Because how is what we do now like that different from what producers do? Like we also craft stories every week.
True, but some food for thought there. Much to think about, yes. Let's put a pin in that one. Let's put a pin in that one, and I'll move on to my last question for you.
Cool.
What is your career dream for the future?
This is literally my next question for you as well.
Stop reading my questions.
It just seems like a natural, like, last question to have.
Yeah.
I think I've been harping on about this the last few months, but I really see myself moving into like a strat role. I would love to do that. Like I just found that I enjoy brainstorming different ways to tell brand stories. So love putting like decks together with different pictures and different campaign ideas. I love coming up with story angles. Not so much the like. Oh no, let me just be careful here. So I have a day job. Maybe not get too cheeky, but I really love strategy, and I hope that in the near future I could do more of that at the company we're in now. Because I think the way we are growing, we are starting to see like little teams form within our big team.
Yeah.
I think we're going to need more of that, as we get more people on board and more clients on board. And I absolutely love Strat. I think it's so cool and so fun. And you get to work with people and find out what their ideas are. And you get to research things on social media and online. And it's just so fun because I'm always on my phone. I'm always on social media reading things and looking at other people's influencer campaigns or PR campaigns. So I'd love to do more thinking around coming up with like campaigns for our clients. But yeah, that's what I want to do.
That sounds very you.
What about you, Kelly?
For me, I think and this is strange because I didn't think that this would be where I want my career to go. My voice is getting funny, sorry. So for me, I like motivating people or I like helping people. And I don't necessarily want to be in a career where like I am in HR or anything. But I like working in the company that we work for now. And I like the idea of being able to support people when they need help or when they need assistance and stuff, or when they are like struggling with a client or a colleague or whatever. I think I know this isn't an actual role, but I want to help troubleshoot. People are having like difficulty with an idea or executing an idea. I want to help them overcome the issues that they're facing. Or if they're having issues with a colleague or whatever, I want to help them with that. And I also, as I've grown up and grown into whoever I am a strong believer in building like a good team culture, and I feel like I could do a lot in that regard. Or not that I could do a lot, but that I want to do a lot in that regard. I want to help develop a good team culture, a good support system, a good, I don't know, environment for people to thrive in.
I love that. And I don't know what you would even call that, but I think it's so necessary.
Yeah.
And it's not HR, but it's a role that I think many companies could use.
Yeah, and I still want to work on ideas and stuff when it comes to the campaigns or stories or even press releases. But I don't want to be the one executing those ideas. Now I don't mind, but in the future, I don't want to be the one that executes the ideas. I want to be the hype person for other people. I want to help them develop their ideas and then hype them up to go forth and execute. I don't know what that role is, but I know that when I do little bits of that, just to help each other in our everyday lives, I enjoy that more than I enjoy the day-to-day things that we do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
So while I don't have a particular role in mind, I know the elements of a role that I want.
Yeah, exactly. Same. And I honestly think it is realistic for both of us, in the not the nearest future, but in the future.
The medium-term future.
Yeah, in the medium-term future. I think it is a real possibility for us where we are now.
I think so too. Do you have any last bits of advice for anyone who is about to build their career?
It's specifically in PR?
Just in general.
In general, I would say just take it one day at a time and don't be so hard on yourself. Imposter syndrome, like we said, is never going to probably go away realistically for most people. But it's important to sometimes just step back and look at the bigger picture, and sometimes just look at what your colleagues are doing. Just realize that you're all basically doing the same thing and you're employed for a reason. You are not, people wouldn't just employ you because they thought on face value you're fine. You actually know what you are doing. So have more faith in what you're doing. And people, for the most part, we are all thinking the same thing. Not everyone is 100% confident in what they're doing. And a lot of imposter syndrome that I experience, I'm thinking everyone else knows what they're doing and I don't.
Yeah.
But realistically, everyone else is also just trying to figure it out. So don't be so hard on yourself. Just take it every day. Just take it day by day.
True that.
What advice do you have?
Mine isn't really advice. It's just something to keep in mind, is that you can change your mind. No matter how old you are or how young you are or whatever it is, you can change your mind. If you are in your first job after you graduate and you realize this is not for you, you can change your mind. I understand that it's not as easy for everyone because some people just need that income. But if you're not happy in the role that you're in, maybe look within your company if there is a role that you prefer and chat to your manager about how you can get to that other role. Even if it's a lateral move and not a step up or whatever, have a look around you to see what you prefer. And you'd be surprised at how accommodating a lot of companies will be. But just keep in mind that more often than not, you can change your mind. You're not locked into one role and one career for the rest of your life. Even if you've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of rands on it, there's a thing called the sunken cost fallacy. I think that's what it's called, where you feel like you have to go through with something because you've already spent the money on it. But it might just be worthwhile not going through with it. It will make you happier, and eventually you won't even realize how much money you used on it. Just do what makes you happy. And if you want to change your mind about your career, then by all means change your mind.
That's an awesome bit of advice, yeah. You can always just change your mind.
You can just change your mind. And that is really all from me, Amber. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you want to find us on socials, you know where to find us on Facebook and on Instagram at Brown Girls Guide Pod and on Twitter at BGG Pod. And you can drop us an email on info@browngirlsguide.co.za. Until next time, we will say goodbye. So, bye.
Bye.